Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber back with Dana from Hemlane. How you doing, Dana?
I'm great. Thanks for having me again.
So episode number one, you kind of scared me a little bit. You're talking about keyless entry, let people show up without anybody there, freak me out. But let's talk about how we can actually save people time and make the showing process more efficient for both parties. What do you think?
Yeah, so from a landlord perspective, I've seen this just happen time and time again where they get super excited because a lead comes in.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, sometimes the tenant just never responds. You respond for showing and they never respond. And some of that could be bots in some of these listing websites. Other reasons is, hey, they found another place pretty quickly. And that's where you want to be first to respond and have automated responses. And here's the showing calendar. But when you do get a lead who's qualified or who wants to see the property, a lot of landlords I see just like jump into it of like, okay, great. When are you free? Like what works with your schedule? Like let's get something set up. And you have to take a step back because showings take a lot of time. And you want to make sure that you're focused on the really qualified folks. And so instead of just jumping into that, you need to learn a little bit more about these people and have objective questions for them. Not like how many children do you have? Like that's not
not applicable.
But questions like, okay, great. Wanted to know, why you're moving, and then tell me for the property, credit minimum is this, and your income has to be this amount per month or this amount per year. Can you confirm you qualify for that? And then confirm that they actually say yes to those. Pets, yes or no on pets. I'm a huge proponent of pets in your property, but if you don't, should be pretty transparent about that up front. I don't accept pets. But going through and knowing just a tiny bit, because a phone call is usually 2 to 5 minutes with these. And if they can't get on the phone with you, you probably don't want them in the property. Like if they're excited about it, they're going to respond in and answer those questions. But then it saves you a lot of time as well. Because if you find out someone's not qualified, you're not driving all the way out to the property,
right? And
then driving all the way back. And then the other thing I try to do is get the showings all lined up one by one, where they're back to back. And so it's okay, you can make it at this time. The next person comes in. It's like, would you be available at this time, which is, 15 minutes or 30 minutes after the last one? Sometimes post-COVID, you want kind of all those people on the same showing, but really knowing who's viewing the property. I don't think open houses are a good idea. You don't know who's coming in, and sometimes you waste time. You sit there for 2 hours and like no one shows up. But you really want to know the people up front and know, okay, Mike is super qualified. I'm going to respond. I'm going to remind him about the showing. I'm going to follow up with him afterwards, understand what he liked about the place, what he didn't, and really sell them, because don't forget they're your customer.
Exactly.
And so you really want to know them through that process, and you'll save a lot more time by having that call up front and getting to know them. So that's one of the things. I could go on and on. I've got others, but that would be one of the big things I would say if you're looking at like a keyless entry and like how to save yourself time of driving back and forth on showings. It's really be first to respond to them right away and really qualify them right up front.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. This is people should just be treating all of this as leads. And when you're in a sales career, just like in landlord management, your time is the scarce factor, right? Once a minute is spent, you can't get it back. And yeah, I would tell all landlords, qualify, right? And especially, I think what we're going to go through in the next 6 months, right? There's going to be a lot of churn in the landlord space, a lot of churn in the tenant space, people having to move because of this or that reason. And we're going to have a lot of urgent requests to move in immediately kind of stuff. And I would tell you as a landlord not to react based on someone else's schedule. Do your process every time. Everybody goes through the same process. There's no, exceptions. And that includes not rushing to a showing, right? Answer some basic questions, get some validation, so you don't waste your time. You're only working with the most qualified, because, in sales, the thing that's better than there's only one thing that's slightly worse than a yes answer, and that's a fast no. Maybes are what hurt, right? Maybe. So do your work up front is what I would tell a new landlord for sure.
Yeah. And then another way I'm thinking like that you can make sure when you get these leads that they are qualified is all the photos, have
Yes.
videos, all these different things. Because usually a tenant has already made up their mind of like, do they like the place based on the photos and other things? And if you're not very transparent about the property and you make it look really great, but you like didn't show the third bedroom and the third bedroom's actually a closet. You're
Yeah.
gonna get like every single time you're gonna get all these people are like, oh wow, this is priced really low for a 3-bedroom.
Right.
And then a ton of people coming and are like, yeah, that third bedroom's not gonna work. It's a closet.
Yeah.
So those types of situations, as if you can be transparent up front as well.
Mhm.
And obviously you want great photos and a great video if you could put one on YouTube. But if you can be very transparent about the property as well, you'll save yourself a ton of time.
Yeah, the other thing I would do, again, just kind of using my sales career as a background, is there may be one picture that you put out probably in the early one. Let's just say that the color of one of the bedrooms is, I don't know, blue for whatever reason. I would say, what'd you think of that third bedroom? Did you like the color? And see what they say. Because again, you want to make sure that the tenant has actually looked at what you've prepared, right? If you have a swing set in the backyard, what'd you think of the backyard? Ask them a question to see if they've done the work. Because then again, you could tell them, hey, I guess, you probably haven't looked at the pictures. I've worked really hard to do this. There's a 3-minute walkthrough video. The more you can qualify up front, the less people that show up means you waste less time and you're closer to that yes answer, which we all want.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, and you're the sales guru here, Mike. You've been in the industry of sales and quite successfully, so you know that really well.
Yeah, it's all about, again, landlords. You're preparing a service, right? You're preparing a 3-bedroom, right? And if your example is Dana used, your 3rd bedroom is small, don't hide it. Use it try to spin it as a positive thing, right?
Yeah.
Call it an office, 2+ office, right? Probably don't call it a bedroom if it's really just an extra walk-in closet, but call it an office, call it a den, call it a playroom, whatever you want. But make it a strength. If you just call it a 3rd bedroom or 3-bedroom and it's cheap, it will be looked at as a minus. The 3rd bedroom, you're lying. But if you call it 2+, then the 3rd bedroom is a plus, or the 3rd room is a plus. So position for strength, not for weakness, and just be upfront. Because again, you as a landlord need one yes answer. You don't need 50 people showing up. You need one. So qualify up front, filter, don't accelerate the process on someone else's timeline. Take everything as your strength and make sure they've done the work, right? Make sure they realize that bedroom's blue or it's small or there's a swing set, whatever it is. So lots of good stuff, Dana. I look forward to episode number 3.
Great. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.